Mitsketa!
Hello everybody, welcome to the Japanese version of Fullmetal Alchemist Mobile. This game just came out about a week ago and there's no news yet on the global launch, but that usually takes about 4 months or so before it actually comes over from Japan. So we're going to go through the game today and show you what it's all about so you can either get into it now, which I have a video how to do, or you can just get all hyped up for the global launch eventually. Let's start at one of the most fun parts of a gacha game to look at, which are the units that you can acquire. So this game is based off of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, and we can see that they've basically put everybody in straight from launch. There are some exceptions, but for the most part, as I scroll down at the bottom here, you can kind of see all these different units that we have. The Chimeras from Fullmetal. We've got some of the armor guys. I'm not going to say any names here. I mean, we're just going to kind of go through it. We've got the Book Lady, who again I've forgotten the name of, and they've got all the characters from the north. They've got all the characters from like Ishval and from all these different places. They're all in the game. We've even got our 1 episode villain from, you know, both versions of the show. So there's a lot of really cool characters. So far, my 2 SSRs are Scar, who is really good, and I think that, you know, if this comes out on global, that people will want to get Scar because he really is quite the attacker. And then Mustang, who I actually pulled, but we get a free copy if we complete enough missions, which means I'll be able to awaken my copy here. There are a lot of leveling and awakening systems in this game, so there is a level cap system where you can acquire some materials and boost your level cap, but there's also a skill awakening system on the right here that has a bunch of different passives that can be upgraded. It goes quite deep, to be honest, and you have to farm all of these materials. There's also another awakening level, which is the one that you need dupes for, and this one will increase your stats, but also the effect of your passive abilities. And this is actually quite an impactful thing. So there's 3 different tiers where you're going to need various dupes, and then otherwise at different tiers you just need any copy of, let's say, a 1-star, 4-star character. It tells you what you need, but it's one of those games that has that kind of pyramid structure where when you get to a certain point you need to actually get a bunch of copies of certain characters. So for example, when we look at Hawkeye here and we want to do an awakening, we need a 3-star copy of Hawkeye and then a 3-star copy of any unit at all. But to get a 3-star copy of Hawkeye, we actually need 2 more Hawkeyes and so on and so forth. So you get to the point where you need a bunch of copies of a bunch of units just to be able to awaken them. And I've got to say, that's my least favorite awakening system in any gacha game, period. But it's at least made a little bit easier in Fullmetal Alchemist because they have this button here that when you click on it, it will bring up this huge menu, and it's pretty small right now because I've already used it, but it's a bulk a bulk fusion process. So you can list, it will literally list like 30 options if there's 30 options, and you can do all of your upgrading in this menu really fast and really simply. If they didn't have this, I would straight up quit because it's a lot of stars that you have to upgrade, and that means a lot of leveling, then fusing, then leveling, then fusing, and all this stuff that you have to complete just so that you can awaken your characters. There is also a memory or some sort of equipment type system where you put on these different memories from the game, and what these actually do, you can upgrade them and everything, and they actually give you passives and also some just flat stats for your character. So these so far have been given as rewards for missions. They've been given through like a bonus through the gacha, but we haven't had actually any gacha to pull for these things, although I certainly wouldn't discount that in the future. Speaking of the gacha, here it is in front of you, and you can see I've got 2 currencies in the top right. The coins are a summon currency that you need 10 of to do a 10 shot, otherwise you have to pay 1600 gems, and those coins are given out pretty freely so far. It is launch, but I've been getting them fairly easily from a lot of different places. Now they actually drop in chests, not repeatable chests, but you know, one-time chests in missions, so you really want to pay attention. It's not one of those things where you want to skip it, but when you go into this gacha menu, there's lots of different options here. So at launch, we actually had a step up with step 2 giving us a guaranteed SSR. Step 3 also guarantees an SSR, but it's paid coins, so there are paid gems. So there is a paid currency here. We've also got a 1 million download celebration here, and there's going to be some coins they're giving us that we can do some summons with. Otherwise, there's been various pop-up banners. We had an Envy pop-up banner. This is a Roy Mustang step-up banner, or not, sorry, a step-up banner, but just like a coin exchange banner. If I get 18 summons done, then I can pity a Roy Mustang, and I can actually do that again and again and again if I want to. And this isn't a terrible idea for a lot of players because, again, you need dupes to awaken your characters. So if you get a Roy Mustang for free, this is a really easy to get a way to get your first copy and therefore, you know, power up your Roy Mustang. There's also a Kimberly banner, which is, you know, interesting as well because he's a pretty cool character. There's your general banner down here. And there's going to be swimsuit units coming out before too long. I think it's Hawkeye and Winry. I got to double check that, but we've already got some seasonal units. No idea when those are coming exactly and whether or not they're limited or any of that. But when they do come, I will be doing a pull video for that. So, or maybe even just a pull stream. So make sure you keep an eye out for that. Full Metal Alchemist has your standard farming stages, and we're not going to show you that, but I am going to show you the story mode because it's kind of interesting. The chapters are actually very short. They're laid out in these absolutely beautiful newspapers. So for example, and this is all straight from the actual show, there's only been one mission that didn't happen in the show, and it was kind of like a nightmare, daydream, whatever you want to call it scenario. Otherwise, all of this is straight from the show. There are some scenes that are actually just scenes that you have to watch, and then other ones are missions. Because the chapters are actually quite short, they're a little bit more difficult, and some of them unless you have a really powerful account, you're actually going to have to manual, and that part of that is that they're difficult, and the other part of it is that the auto feature in this game is absolutely useless. It doesn't fulfill any mission objectives, but it also like will walk you into trap squares and not utilize these bonus squares that are on the map. It's just the worst. But you can see that there's all these classic newspaper headlines of things from the show. There's also a side story menu here, and there's a lot of side stories. You can see we can go very far down this list, and these side stories are pretty interesting because they each tell a story of a specific character in Full Metal Alchemist, but like a side character that you might not have really thought about. So for example, the rebellion in Lior, there's actually a full side story. Now this is not something that happened in the show. They alluded to it, they showed like quick scenes from it in the show, but there's actually full voice acted scenes in here and actual like cutscenes and stuff. The way that these are broken up is that there's a main mission that's, again, a little bit harder, and then there's these little side missions. And the side missions, you don't really have to do them ever again. You can auto them, but these main missions here, like this 2-2 and then the 2-3, those ones, there's actually some requirements to beating them where you can actually earn extra rewards. So you can see, this is what I can farm here, but when you look at the achievements, there's actually an achievement done here, and I can take a look at what these are real quick, so you can see that I ended up bringing a healer or something on this mission and I wasn't supposed to. That's why I didn't get this achievement. You can't do these on auto if you want all of the missions. You're going to have to do them manually. And again, unless you've powered up past this point, if you're the same level, it actually is like not hard, but like a good challenge for a mobile game, and I've really enjoyed that. These side missions are where you get all of your level awakening materials and your ability upgrading materials, and then the daily farming missions are where you get things like things to upgrade your memories or whatever those cards are that increase your stats, and that's where you get like XP books and stuff like that. One note about farming in this game, there is actually a friendly skip feature that I can show you. So for example here, I'm upgrading a passive for Edward Elric, and let's say I don't have enough of these materials. I can click on them and I can actually go to the stage where they are found. And once I get here, there's two start buttons in the bottom right here. So the one on the left is actually the skip feature, and I can see what I'm expecting to get from this. There's a certain amount of these that you can do per day, and then you have to manual it. So you can see I can just click this, it's using energy and it's skipping the stage. I've got my materials, I head on back, and then I can awaken this ability. Boom, HP 10% for Ed, and I didn't have to spend any time farming in stage. So So here we have the combat in this game, and it is a turn-based strategy game. So you can see we can set up our units any way we like, and then we can begin the phase. Now this is like Fire Emblem combat, where basically my whole team is going to take a turn, and then the entire enemy's team will take their turn at once, and so on. So when you get your turn, you can click any unit you want and you can move them. Now the thing here is that once you've attacked, that's it. So for example, if I move Havoc here and I go in for an attack, then that's it. He can't move for the rest of this turn. Placement is really important. For example, with Alphonse here, who is a tank unit, you can see like the little green icon here. Anybody that's within 1 square of him, he will cover for. And so placing people is going to be really important. And I'll just show you so you understand that this game has fully animated scenes that play out when you want to. Now I turn those off when I'm just like running through modes and stuff, but there's some pretty cool animations. So for example, with Scar's a really cool character. He has the ability to take multiple turns. So right here, I can power him up. I can attack this guy, and if I get a kill, actually I don't think I did it. Oh no, I did. Okay, great. If I get a kill, he actually gets another turn. So I've just taken 3 turns and killed 2 enemies. So he's quite a powerful starting character. He only has single range, single target attacks. That's his weakness. Someone like Roy Mustang has the ability to do AoE attacks as well as single target attacks, and his attacks also leave a damage after time effect. So once he goes here, we see we just killed this guy. Winry, we can just wait. It's gonna now allow the other team to go. They're all gonna get to move. They're trying to escape to the end of this map, because the modes in this game, it's not just kill all the enemies, it's get to the green zone so you're safe. It's prevent the enemies from getting, so I have to prevent 4 guys from getting to these red squares, otherwise I lose the mission. And there's other ways to play the game. There's other modes as well. So it's actually a pretty in-depth game. So I will say that the order that you do things in this game is very important. If you're right next to an opponent, they can actually counterattack you. So planning around counterattacks is really important as well, especially with your tank. If your tank is covering for everybody, then they're actually going to be able to counter every single person that they cover for. And it allows you to get to this point where you can plan out an entire enemy phase where you've left certain enemies low, and then you're able to take them all out with counters. Now there is PvP in Fullmetal Alchemist as well, and the way that it works is the opponent is always on auto. However, you can choose whether to play on auto or manual, and if you play on manual, you will be able to have a very easy time winning as long as your team is strong enough. If you play on auto, you'll get actually some bonus rewards because it's a little bit more difficult. You can't control how the fight's gonna go. If you play on manual, you'll get to choose which character you move with, and after that point, you can't use that character again until the rest of your team has gone. So there is, again, a lot of strategy into how you move, because once you move someone, they're not moving for a long time. As you're going to see in this example, everybody gets 1 turn in a row. So I get to go, my opponent gets to go, I get to go, etc. Once you've progressed to a certain point in the match, you can actually skip the match, because I know some people don't want to sit through an auto chess battle here, but I think it's actually kind of interesting how you set up your formation, what order you put people in, and what you kind of like hope happens when you're playing on auto. For example, with Scar, he has the ability to take an extra turn, as we're about to see. Then he can run in here, and hopefully he finishes off this person, because now he'll get another turn and he'll take out another person on their team. Of course, they've got their tank that's going to cover for them, but that's okay because this is a pretty weak team. So we've just cleared 2 of their members, and we're pretty good at this point, so we can go ahead and skip the match. Just to round up all the features in this game, there are a lot of other things that you can do. For example, there is a friend system, and I've also heard that there is a guild system. However, I have not unlocked it yet. There is also a faction system. So I mentioned that different characters from different factions, well, you can power those up by putting those units and upgrading these camps that we have here. So this is the Revolution faction. That's all of Mustang's people. We also have the Freedom, which is all like kind of like the characters that aren't tied to like official factions. We've also got the Chimera faction, and there's some other ones. So when you put these units into these factions, it powers up those factions. It gives them bonuses in battle. So that's one thing that you can do. I also just unlocked this friendship mode where you can give gifts to units, and what I can show you here is if I do a translate that there's some bonuses, including some new voice releases and I guess some sort of stat boost. I think it's kind of funny that when you open up the friendship screen, the first person here is Scar. So I'm gonna go ahead and give him a diamond ring, which is only a 1-star gift. I think that's kind of unbelievable, but I'm gonna go ahead and become level 2 friends with Scar. There's also an expedition mode in the top right here, and it's just always running. Every day you can use 1 free claim on it, and you can also come and check when it's full and just grab whatever materials the Elric brothers have claimed. There's also a battle system here where I'm farming at level 39, and that means that I will get more rewards. I can actually raise the level that I'm farming at, but I have to beat that level 40 battle first. Now I know that's a lot of battles, and you're thinking I don't want to go through all of those. You can actually set it to continuously battle on auto until it gets to the level that you can no longer beat. So once my team's a little bit stronger, I'll set it to auto battle again, and I'll find out what the new level I can farm this expedition at. That's going to be it for me, and hopefully I've shown you enough about this game that you have a good understanding of what it's all about. The production values are honestly very high, and I've really enjoyed playing manually because there's actually a lot of depth to the combat. It's a lot of fun. I'm really excited for when this comes out in global because I'll probably put even more effort into it then, but until then you can kind of get an idea of what type of game it's going to be when it does come out in global. So if there's any videos that you'd like to see, any information you'd like about the game, and again, if you want to learn how to play on the Japanese server, I have a video for that. So just comment down below with questions, and otherwise we'll see you all in the next video.